So, you're thinking about starting a goat farm. That's awesome. But listen up, because there's one decision right at the beginning that can make or break your entire business. And if you get it wrong, you're looking at what I call the 2.5-year mistake.
All right, you've got your starting capital, you're pumped, and you're ready to build your farm. But bam, you immediately face a critical choice. Do you invest that money in high-end genetics right from day one? Or do you play it a bit safer, start with cheaper animals to save money up front? I'm telling you, this single decision can literally be the difference between success and failure.
So, as you can see, you've got two very distinct paths. Over on the left, that's the slow and steady route. You start with some hardy, cheaper local goats, and you gradually try to breed up. Then on the right, you have the fast track, investing more right at the start to buy goats that are already genetically superior. Let's dig in and see what each path is really going to cost you. Okay, first, let's explore path number one, starting with local goats. Now, on the surface, this seems like the most affordable option, right? But as we're about to see, it comes with a pretty big hidden cost, and that cost is time. So how does this breeding up process actually work? Well, it's a multi-generational project. You start by breeding a purebred male with a local female. 5 months later, you get an F1 kid, which is 50% improved. Not bad, but you're far from done. That F1 female needs a full year just to mature. Then you breed her with another purebred. Wait another 5 months, and only then do you finally get an F2 kid at that 75% improved mark. Now let's map this out on a timeline, because when you see it all laid out, it's pretty shocking. Factoring in a 2-month quarantine, you start at month 0. By month 7, your 50% F1 kid is born. It then takes until month 19 for that kid to mature. After breeding, your 75% F2 kid is finally born at month 24. That's 2 full years in, but it still needs another 8 months to reach market weight. You add it all up, and you're looking at 32 months. That's 2.6 years, from the day you start to the day you have a single 75% improved animal ready for the market. 2.6 years before you can really start to see the results of your genetic improvement plan. Now let's look at the alternative. Instead of spending years creating a 75% goat, what if you just started with one? This is the fast path, and it's basically about starting your business right at the finish line of that long breeding process. So what are the advantages here? Well, they are immediate and they are significant. You start on day 1 with an animal that has a high growth rate, reaching a 40-kilo market weight in just 8 months. Better yet, when you breed this goat, your very first generation of kids is already 87% improved. You're dramatically shortening your timeline to sell high-quality animals. Now, this slide right here really gets to the core of the issue, growth rate. A typical local goat might gain about 5 grams per day, even with good feed. But a 75% improved goat, it can gain around 150 grams per day. That's not a small difference. That's a game-changing 30-fold difference. The business of farming is a business of weight, and this is just a whole different league. Okay, so we've seen the two paths. Let's put them side by side and see the final verdict in this tale of two timelines. Wow, this table just puts the choice in stark contrast. Look at the time to get a 75% animal, 32 months versus 0. Look at the daily growth rate, a few grams versus nearly 200. And your very first offspring are 50% improved on one path versus a whopping 87% on the other. The data here pretty much makes the business case for you. This right here, this reframes the entire decision. That higher upfront cost, let's say $500,000 for a 75% goat, that isn't an expense, it's an investment. You're not just buying a goat, you are buying back 2.5 years of your life, your labor, and your farm's operating costs. You are fast-forwarding your business to the point where it can actually become profitable. So, what's the big takeaway here? It really comes down to understanding what your most valuable asset is when you're starting out. This quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. The business is all about how many times do we sell. We are cutting up the years so that we can get more money. The goal isn't just to own goats, it's to run a profitable operation. And profitability is tied directly to how quickly you can turn your animals into revenue. And that leaves us with a final question to consider, not just for goat farming, but for any new venture you're thinking about. When you're making your initial plans, are you focused only on conserving your starting capital, or do you recognize that your most finite, most valuable, and non-refundable asset is actually your time?